Alright folks, so we just arrived at the car park at the Campsies Fells. I'm here with Chris again, and we're doing another car camp tonight. We're just going to take a quick walk down here to some little waterfalls and things and show you those before it gets dark. I think we're going to explore these tomorrow, and then there's also a sort of castle-y thing nearby we're going to check out, so we'll see what that's like. I'll bring you along. Chris is going exploring here into the little waterfall, but this is actually such a nice spot. I was just saying to Chris, I actually wonder how deep this pool actually is. I'm wondering if you could maybe swim it at some point, possibly even if it's deep enough and safe enough, could we actually jump in from up there? Somehow I doubt it, but we'll see.
Dive as like a multi-rock and like...
Yeah. So we're just saying, Chris has just came back and he's found a whole bunch of barbecues and things just round the corner. So I think we might get some BAMs turning up tonight in cars and stuff.
We might, I get that impression.
Yeah, we'll see what we get. Okay, so that's how you have a barbecue without leaving a giant mess like most people do. So yeah, that was dinner. We're going to head back and chill out. There we go. Alright, so the completed setup and what I'm using at the minute, I've done a slight improvement from last time. I've added in a sort of air mattress, cheap one from Tesco, so this should give me a little bit more thickness underneath, make it a little bit of a comfier night. That's if it stays inflated, we'll see how that goes. As before, I've still got my duvet in from the last time, and up here I actually kept the parcel shelf in this time to try and keep me a little bit more hidden from the back window. I'll get round to getting those sun visors for the back windows eventually, but that's what the back's looking like at the minute. If we come around this side, you can kind of see where I'm going to be climbing in and out of the car. I've got my little head torch set up so that I've got a light, got my air mattress and my pillows, and should be relatively comfy in there. So
basically I've moved the plastic tray out of my boot and replaced it with this foam. I've moved the plastic tray out of my boot and replaced it with this foam pad here. I've got my sleeping bag and I've moved these two seats as far forward as I can.
Yep.
And I've left a single one up just to see if I can sleep without it being moved down, just because it's a bit more subtle.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's it.
Alright folks, so we thought we'd come into the woods for a little bit and just do a kind of chat and on a few topics, because we picked up on something interesting earlier on, which was, you mentioned this, Chris, was the tourism in Scotland. We thought it was kind of like made to be a bit more whimsical and magical than it actually is. Like, what was your take on that again?
Yeah, maybe the sort of mysticism's been oversold. I mean, or looking a bit more remote than it actually is.
Yeah, so this kind of thing, like, especially I think it's American tourists as well, you get this quite a lot, where they arrive in Scotland and the first thing they're expecting is this, like, the Highlands and kilts and bagpipes and, like, everywhere you look there's mountains, and, like, it does exist, you know.
Well, they've probably got visions of places. Loch Ness, there not being anyone there, but
it makes me wonder, like, what's their first thing when they arrive? When they rock up at Glasgow airport and they're thinking, yeah, we're going to get greeted by a piper as we got off the plane, and no. It's just not what they were expecting.
Be greeted by Paisley.
Yeah, what a thing to see when you arrive in Scotland.
I think lots of stuff, there's standard stuff, but there's lots of other good stuff there that's not really advertised. So maybe a lot of people kind of do the standard stuff, but there's lots more in there that you can...
Yeah, that's true. I think that, like, we're hoping to kind of showcase a lot of that as we go along. It's finding places that are not exactly off-grid, but as far as regular tourism goes, is quite off-grid.
Places that just aren't promoted sometimes, because I don't know, council don't want to take responsibility of what, but they are there.
What's your take on the North Coast 500? Because this is a bit of an interesting topic for Scottish people. People are very much on the fence with this one.
I think some of the people in the towns have said they're struggling. Some of the towns supposedly can't take the traffic, and I think it was, well, someone said to me earlier on, it was done to take the pressure off of Skye, because that's something tourist, but now I think the North Coast 500 ends near Skye. People just do the North Coast 500 then visit Skye.
So it's kind of almost like compounded the problem and spreading it around Scotland rather than solving it.
But then ultimately, one thing I always say is the government promote tourism and then don't put the infrastructure in for tourists. They should improve the roads.
Yeah.
Should put toilets on the roadside. Should give them places to park.
Especially if they're really pushing that, yeah, it makes sense to try and have it more set up. Alright guys, so I'm keeping my voice down just now, but we're in the car park again, sitting in the back of the car. This has got to be one of the most popular car parks for sort of boy racery kind of cars. Every 2 minutes something else turns up. It's quite interesting. You think it was like a car meet or something. It's pretty cool. But it's going to be an interesting night. Alright guys, so we've kind of invented a little game here. I've got a little can set up. So Chris is in his car over there, now blinded, loading up a Nerf gun, and his goal is to try and shoot this can off my parcel shelf. Ooh, close. It went in, yeah, it landed on my shoulder. Oh, nice! Yeah, nailed it! Hey folks, so we're in the car at the minute, all wrapped up. Got my duvet and stuff here, ready to go to bed. I'm going to play a couple of games on the Switch. This spot's been really busy all night with all sorts of cars coming and going, and people having parties, music, and some boy racers and things. So we'll see what we get throughout the night, see how interesting it gets. Hopefully we get a good night's sleep, and we'll explore the abandoned castle that we were talking about earlier on in the morning. So yeah, catch you then. Morning folks, just awake here in the Civic. I'm about to check on Chris in a little minute. The setup held up pretty good last night actually. The bed has stayed totally inflated here, and yeah, it's pretty comfy actually. One thing I did notice, the extra thickness puts me a little bit higher up, so I'm a little bit more visible, so I'm going to have to think about how I keep myself a little bit more hidden in here, but it's starting to do that thing now where loads of people are kind of rocking up. Alright, so in the middle of recording that section, I had a car right behind me rock up. The car park at this point is fairly quiet. Why do people, me and Chris were talking about this last night, why do people always do this? When they come in, they literally find the nearest car and park directly beside it. It's crazy. So yeah, last night we had quite a lot of people rocking up in little BAM cars and, you know, playing loud music and things, but that eventually died down maybe about 2:30, 3 in the morning. It did take a little while for that to stop. But then this morning it's starting to pick up. We've got a few cyclists kicking about. There's about 4 or 5 cars now in the car park, but I think we're going to get a repeat of the Wangi where cars just start appearing out of nowhere. So we're going to get up and get some breakfast, get some more filming on the go. Another feature that worked really well last night actually was the keeping the parcel shelf in. As you can see, it's turned into my little personal storage area. It also works quite well to set your phone or tablet or something on as a little shelf to watch movies on, so quite happy with how this worked out. Anyway, what do you think is the best bits, like differences between car camping and wild camping then?
What I like with car camping is there's not really anything to clean up. Like with a tent, you've got to go home, dry it out,
Yep.
maybe sweep the sand out of it. Car camping, you drive off and deal with all the stuff. Like you just shove it in the boot and you can deal with it later. Deal with it in a week's time.
That you can bring all sorts of stuff that you normally wouldn't bring.
Yes.
Like for me, like camera gear, I'm not cutting back on things for weight and space. I just fire them in the front seat or whatever.
Or Nerf guns.
Yeah, or Nerf guns or penny boards, or you name it.
I can't say weight bother too much when camping, it's more bulk.
Yeah, the bulk becomes an issue.
Not nearly as much of an issue with car camping.
Yeah. I don't get this phenomenon. I thought about this morning where people rock up to a car park and there could be like one other car in the place, 50 spaces, and they'll pick the car to park next to. I don't know what it is.
Right, I think it's a natural thing.
Yeah. It must be inbuilt into humans subconsciously.
Like in car parks, I'm always trying to get away from people, and it happens all the time. I will park at the back end of a car park. There'll be 100 empty spaces, and somebody will park right beside me. Alright guys, I keep my voice down for this bit, but I was just about to set up the penny board and do a little cruise around this corner. There's a really cool little bend here that I can kind of skate around, and the theme of this car park is just frustration. The second I talk about doing this, look what rocks up. Right on the exit of the corner that I wanted to use. This car park is just designed to frustrate you. Plan is, I'm going to ride down this hill. We've set up 4 cans along the way, and I'm going to have to try and shoot them as I go. It should be quite a fun little game.
Alright folks, so we just drove down the hill a little bit to that castle that we were talking about before. We're going to take a little walk up the path and see what we find. It's so tricky though, isn't it? It's if it's meant to go somewhere, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Probably did be found it, abandoned. Found a hole in the ground.
So just to show you guys, we've been walking along this like country lane path type of thing. And it just comes out to what would have been an old road into the hospital type thing with trees lining it and everything. But the road literally goes nowhere. The old road's blocked off and nature's basically just taking it back. It's pretty trippy. Hopefully we'll find some interesting stuff up ahead. Lennox Castle was originally built in the 1830s, however at the turn of the 20th century it was converted into what would become a notorious psychiatric hospital. Officially opened in 1936, the hospital started out as one of the leading mental institutions in Britain, being able to house 1,200 patients. As time went on, the hospital became overcrowded and underfunded, reports of patients being malnourished and poorly treated, with some allegations of assault and cruel punishments. The hospital was closed down in 2002, despite some attempts to draw up plans for the site, it's been left to rot. Right guys, so we're inside the old hospital at the minute. You can see there's a lot of damage going on up here with the stairs and things behind me. Some fruitcake has attached a rope swing to this, which is a bit mental. It's got to be a really dodgy idea. There's all sorts of different areas. There's a bit with lifts and things that have still got parts in them. But yes, overall, very much destroyed now.
Oh wait, this could have been a mortuary. I don't know.
Have we nosy in again?
Do you want me to?
Oh wow. Yeah, this could have been something.
It's like just a basement or something. Well, this doesn't actually really go anywhere. Got no idea what they are. Got some more walls. There's a little door that I'm standing on. Yeah, this is the stairwell from earlier. Look at that thing. Bloody hell, and it's eating a millipede. Jeez.
It's the fact that all these rooms are tiled. This is strange.
Yeah.
So we found something on the grounds that looks kind of like a well. What are you saying, Chris?
I think it might have been a basement that's flooded.
Ah. Yeah, it probably is. Or just some kind of sewage drainage type. Look how old this tree is. Alright guys, we found this tree here. I'm going to show you the gap in this thing. Chris reckons he can fit through it. He likes going caving and things, which terrifies the crap out of me. But yeah, this is what we're working with. So it's a tiny little gap in this tree, and he's going to try and squeeze through. So there we go. Nice.